Okay, you guys, on to the next part. I just love how these colors came out. Isn't that awesome? All it was in my Glimmer Mist spray or my paint spray is just acrylic paint, Mod Podge, and water. This is the side that I want showing for my flower. So I'm going to take the back side and start my stitch. And all I'm going to do is, again, go through and do a straight stitch all along the edge of this circle. And you want to go as close to the ends as possible because you don't want your thread showing. Depending on how big the centerpiece of your flower is going to be, you don't want these threads showing. I learned from my own mistake I made on one of my flowers, and I noticed a lot of thread showing. So now that I've got my straight stitch all the way to the beginning point, all I do is just pull the fabric until the whole thing kind of goes into like this little pocket. And then all I do is just flatten it out. And so now all I do is, while it's still in there, I don't do any cutting yet, I just take my ends and just tie a knot. So now I'm just going to cut this end off. We won't need that anymore. So you take your little tutu that you did. Okay, I usually keep this little puffy part to the back. And if you have that little beginning thread here, then you can just trim it off. Okay, so remember I kept the thread attached to this for the purpose of sewing this guy on. So I just kind of center it on my little tutu, and then I take my thread and just poke through the bottom and sew it on. There's no perfect way of doing this, just go with the flow. So that should be good. I think I'm liking how that's turning out. These ends here, they will overlap a little bit, and if they're not doing it very well, then you can always reinforce that by folding it next to each other like that, overlapping it a bit, and then just reinforcing it with the stitch. And then when I'm done reinforcing that part, you can just kind of loop through the bottom. So this is what it looks like now, okay? So what you're going to do is you can trim it up so both ends are the same, or you can do like what I did here, and I did a shorter front and a longer back, and that's what I'm going to do with this one as well. So all you do is just take the tool and separate it so you have your front piece, and you just go along the entire flower, separating it and pulling the back piece back so you don't cut it by accident. Okay, so as you can see, this is so completely uneven, which is fine because I'm going to cut it anyway. So where it's the shortest, and I might even go a little shorter, I'm just going to follow along, and I hope you guys can catch this on camera. I'm just going to go along. Okay, so I'm going to have a look at it. I see there's some longer ends over here, so I'll just snip them up. Okay, so I think I'm happy with the way that looks. So now I'm just going to take the back that I was holding and just flatten it out. And now I'm going to trim that up. So I think I'll start right where it's really long here, and I think I'll start right there. Alright, so I think I like how that is looking. So next we are going to put on a center. So for this one, I'm going to kind of make it like this one here. And I just got these centers here from a bead store, actually, a local bead store. They are so cool. So I'm going to take one of those. Okay, so all I'm going to do is I just got like a pink rhinestone, and I'm going to just take a piece of foam. This is the easiest way I found to do this. So I just press this in there, and I can kind of see the shape of it and where I need to cut for it to fit inside, and you'll see why I'm doing this here in a second. And essentially what I'm going to do is glue this on and then put it in here, and it just kind of gives it some added lift so you can see the little rhinestone through the little hole. But first, because this is white, it might show up on the side, so I'm going to color it. So I'm just going to color it quickly. So once that's pretty much covered, like give it a couple seconds to dry. It's Sharpie, so it'll dry fast. I'm going to take my hot glue gun, And I'm just going to glue my rhinestone onto the foam piece. Okay. So now that it's got some pop, like a little bit of height to it, I'm going to just set it in there. And all it is just accenting a bit of the rhinestone. So that's the only thing I'm trying to do here. So push in that piece of foam really good so the rhinestone is as high as it can possibly go to being raised so you can see it. It's very subtle and it's a hint of it. And now to sort of reinforce the foam on this piece of metal, I just take my glue gun here and just give it a good squeeze of glue all the way around the edges, making sure that that's nice and secured. And then I just cover it up, pop it on my center, just give it some good pressure while it dries, cools. And there you have it. So here is the second piece of my pink collection. And I'll go and put these into the package. And so that's what this one will look like. And I'll again probably add some jewels to that in a little while. So I hope you guys like the flower. It's super easy. Don't be intimidated by the needle and thread. I'm not a sewer, and at first it was quite intimidating, but it is so easy and so simple and straightforward. So I hope you guys like it. Stay tuned for more to come, you guys. Please leave a comment. Let me know what you think. If there's anything I need to improve on, if you like the flowers, if you have any questions, please. I am so open to comments and questions, and I will gladly get back to you. Thanks again, everybody, for watching. Take care. Bye now.